All right, we are back. We are going to finish the number corner checkup. Please remember to write down everything that I write down so you get full credit for your work and don't have to redo it. Also, if I go too fast, which I know I'm fast, please just pause it, catch up, and then move and then play it again. We are on number 9. It says plot and label the points on the first quadrant of this coordinate plane. I love graphing coordinate points. The thing that you need to know about coordinate pairs or ordered pairs is the first number is how many you go over. The second number is how many you go up. So we're going to go for 2, 5. We're going to go over 2, up 5. So I go up to 5. I put my point, and then I label it. 2, 5. Done with that one. Okay, first number is over. So I go 4 over. Second number is up. I go 1 up. Put it here, 4, 1. The last one, I go over 1 and go up 3. Draw a point, label it 1, 3. Easy, done. Let's go to number 10. What are the coordinate planes marked on this coordinate grid? So we have to tell what is point A. Remember, we have to go over first and then up. Over 1, up 5. Let's look at point B. Over was 2, up is 3. Point C, over was 6, up is 2. Pretty simple. I love these. They're easy. Number 11, I have to find the sums. Okay, and we're going to be talking about clocks and money a little bit for these. Okay, so let's go to the first one. And I'm actually going to be able to do this without thinking about clocks or money, because I know that 2/4 is the same as how many hundredths? 2/4 is a half, right? 2/4 is a half. So if I were to use hundredths and I had 100 squares, what would be half of 100 squares? 50. So now I know that these two fractions, I can add them together because they both have 100 on the bottom. 25 hundredths plus 50 hundredths is 75 hundredths. Okay, let's go to B. 1/10. Now we're going to think money because we have tenths and 20ths. What coin does it take 10 of to equal $1? Yeah, a dime. And a dime is worth 10 cents. Write that down. What coin does it take 20 of to equal $1? That takes a nickel, so that's 5 cents. If I add these together, 10 cents plus 5 cents, I get 15 cents. But I can't write 0.15 as my answer. I need to put it in fraction form. 15 cents is the same as 15 cents out of 100 cents. Let's go to C. C is up here. For this one, I'm going to use clocks. So my first one I have, and you don't have this clock paper, but you can just watch up here. First one is half a clock, which is the same as 30 minutes. So you can write that, write 30 minutes. The next one is 1/4 of a clock. So I'm going to divide my clock into fourths. How many minutes is that? Yeah, it's 15 minutes. We're going to write 15 minutes. Now, if I were to put these together, I would get, here's my half, here's my fourth. All together, what is that shaded? Well, it could be 3 out of 4 pieces shaded, so I could write 3/4. That works. I could also write that it's 40 minutes out of 60 minutes. That works too. Let's go to D. We have 1/6 plus 1/3. I'm going to use clocks again for this one. I'm going to divide my clocks into sixths. And I'm going to shade in 1/6. How many minutes is that? That's 10 minutes. 1/3. I'm going to divide my clock into thirds. Shade it in. How many minutes is that? Well, this was 10. This is 20 minutes. If I add 10 minutes plus 20 minutes, what do I get? I get 30 minutes, but I can't write that as my answer. Instead, I'm going to show it on my clock here, 30 minutes. What fraction could I write? Yeah, 1/2. So although you don't need to draw the clocks, please write down this part. All right, the next one, 1/4 and 1/12. I'm going to use a clock again. 1/4. Divide my clock into fourths. Shade in 1. How many minutes is that? 15 minutes. Plus 1/12. We haven't done this one yet. A 12th is just one little pie piece. I like to think about pie. Here'd be 1/12. How many minutes is that? That is just 5 minutes. So if I add 15 minutes plus 5 minutes, what do I get? 20 minutes. If I were to draw or shade in 20 minutes, it looks like this. What fraction is that? Let me draw on this side. Now can you tell what fraction is? How much is shaded out of how many total? Yeah, it's 1/3. All right, and the last one, 5/6. So I need to divide my clock into 6. And I need to shade in 5 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5. How many minutes is that? It's 50 minutes plus 1/3. How many minutes was that? Should look familiar. Yeah, it's 20 minutes. Ooh, this one's going to be tricky. 50 minutes plus 20 minutes is 70 minutes. Let me show you what that looks like on a clock. 70 minutes would be one whole clock because this is 60 minutes plus 10 minutes of the next one. Okay, now 60 minutes plus 10 minutes is 70 minutes. How do I write 60 minutes as a fraction? That's just one whole. That's one whole. How much is 10 minutes as a fraction? How about I draw on the rest of the pieces? Now tell me how much is shaded. It's 1/6. So 70 minutes is 1 1/6. Thanks for sticking with me. We haven't talked too much about that this year. Let's flip to the back side. All right, it says, what is the volume of each figure? Show your work and label your answer with the correct units. Okay, so let's start with the first prism. This one's easy. First, I need to write in my dimensions. Across the front, it is 5. This dimension, 6. And how tall is it? 3. So my work is 5 times 6 times 3. This is my base. And I do think I'm actually going to solve that first. 5 times 6 is 30. So 30 times 3, 90, and I need to label it. Cubic units. Volume always is cubic. Easy problem. Next one. Let's do the same thing. What are my dimensions? What is it across the front? 3. What is it across the side? 4. How tall is it? 4. So my base, my bottom is 3 times 4 times 4 tall. Okay. I think I'm actually going to solve it the way it's written as well. 3 times 4 is 12. Now I need to take that times 4. First, I can double 12 and then double it again. 12 times 2 is 24. Times 2, double that number, 48. How do I label it? Cubic units. Easy. Here's where it starts to get a little tricky. We have some funky pictures. Funky prisms, funky figures. We can't even call this a prism because it's not filled in. It's got some gaps. So I'm actually going to divide this prism, and I'm just going to look at the bottom part first. Imagine that this isn't here. Okay, so let's just look at this bottom part. I have a 2 by 4 by 3. Okay, 2 by 4 by 3 is the bottom part. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So this part right here is 24. Now I need to look at the top part, and I think I'm just going to do some counting, some good old-fashioned counting. I know that right here, how many cubes do I have? I have 4 more cubes. Okay, here's the part where it gets really tricky. I have to visualize. I have 2 cubes here. Underneath this one, I should have 2 cubes. And then look at this tall one. How many cubes would I have here? 3. So I have 2, 4, plus 3 more. 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, so I'm going to add all those together now. 24 plus 4 is 28. 28 plus 7 is 35. And I'm going to label it cubic units. All right, so we have to do some visualizing for these ones. All right, the next one, I'm actually just going to solve this part first because this is a regular prism. This one I can do with all my dimensions. The front dimension is 4. The side dimension is 4. And my height is 2. So 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 2. 32. So that's this part right here is 32. Now I'm going to have to do some counting for this one. Let's just look at this layer right here. And I know it's hard to see. Just stay with me. That layer right there. It looks like it's only 1 layer tall. So I have this times this then. 3 times 3. What's 3 times 3? 9. And it's only 1 layer tall, so it's only 9 blocks. So I'm going to add 9 more. Then I'm going to work with this very bottom layer. It's only 1 layer tall again. So we only have 2 by 2. And that is 4. So I'm going to add 4 more. 32 plus 9. 32 plus 10 is 42. That's too many. It's 41. Plus 4 more. 45. And how do I label it? Cubic units. Circle my answer. Thanks for hanging with me for some hard problems. Please double check that your name's on this, turn it into the math basket. Then you can log on to Dreambox or Epic Reading.